All right, welcome back,
Say that
everybody,
camera.
to Overdunk of. Okay, Bridget, what do you say?
I'm nothing.
All right, perfect. We'll take it one more time. Unless you guys, we'll take it one more time from the top. What's going on, everybody? Welcome
No.
back to Overdunk, your favorite competitive Pokemon Unite podcast. My name is Zoe, joined as always by Bridget, and we got Steel Agent Kyle back at the house. What's going on, Kyle?
Oh, not much. Just having some fun today.
Good to hear. Good to hear. What's going on, Bridget? How you doing?
I'm so good. My computer was being laggy, that's why I kept yapping because I was red ping in the Electrode Volleyball lobby. It was very stressful.
Yeah.
But I'm good.
Yeah, for those of you listening on YouTube or on Spotify, our pre-show that we do here on Twitch, we usually just hang out, talk about our ranked games, but my ranked games have not been worth talking about, so instead, we just played 3 games of Electrode Volleyball. We absolutely locked in. We learned the meta for the 2 games, aka we lost pretty handedly, and then for that 3rd game, we really found our groove, which was important.
Bridget clutched
We
up.
needed that.
Yeah. That Snorlax push, goated.
Bridget clutched up from apparently
Had to
the
do it to
past
him.
due to your ping.
Yeah.
Like, apparently he was that
Yeah,
mad.
I was red pinging. It was not happy with me, but
Interesting.
I saw through the ping. I like felt the game through my controller, you know.
Awesome.
And I made it happen for the team.
We go off vibes. I love it. But yeah, either way, it was a very fun game mode and was a big part of today's news, which was the Pokemon Presents, which is going to be a big part of our episode today. We'll probably start with that. We're going to be talking about Latios and, of course, giving it a release report card, as we have done with every other edition to Pokemon Unite this year. And then we're going to be ending by talking about the newest patch to hit the game, which happened last week, called U Impact, otherwise known as 1.19.2.6. My favorite way to name Unite patches, but somehow U Impact gets very close in quality. We are going to be talking about that patch and everything to do with it. But first, let's talk about the Pokemon Presents. As of Unite news, we got a few cool things. Of course, there was a neat little Latios and Latias trailer, which actually looked pretty cool. We had the news that Electrode Volleyball is hitting the game in new quick mode. And then, at the very end, a quick little tease of a new Pokemon getting added to the game very soon. In Palmot. The entire Palmy line is going to be added into Unite at some point. Look very adorable, very cuddly, and they got a little family photo as their intro, which I thought was kind of cool. But all right, overall thoughts on the Unite specific part of the Presents. We'll start with you, Kyle.
I mean, it was very quick. Like, it was in and out. It gave us all the important information that we needed to know. Obviously, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get the auto chess announcement. I think probably a majority of us were hoping for, but I love the addition of Palmot. I think it could be a really fun Pokemon. I think I've seen like several different like concepts of Palmot, so I'm excited to see like how they implement it, but I think probably a supporter, but I could see it being a number of different things.
Okay. All right, how about you, Bridget? What are you feeling?
I definitely always want more from the Unite portion of the Presents, but I must say I was pretty surprised and satisfied with this one. My stretch goal, as we know, was the sorry, I'm distracted by the screen.
Yeah,
but
my bad. I tried
it's
to make it
working
happen.
now. But I wanted a surprise. I wanted the surprise to be Groudon, like teasing the Groudon map, which I confessed in Spriggle's chat room when he was streaming, and he was like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like they're not going to tease it because they don't want to show something that's not like available yet. I'm like, but isn't that what this whole Presents is all about? But I guess not for us. But I understand where he was coming from. That was what I wanted the surprise to be, but getting the Palmot tease or coming soon rather was, I actually thought, like, extremely hype. Like, truly, like, this Presents was like interesting, or like I feel like we were talking about this in the pre-show or before we went live, that it was a little controversial, like definitely some hot and cold takes, but I feel like if you like Unite and pay attention, like this was a pretty nice like surprise.
Yeah. I agree. I think Latios, obviously a part of it, but I think Unite did have a pretty cool spot in this Presents. Maybe one of the best of the side games. Small shout out to to Cafe Remix with maybe the most hype intro to any of their trailers of all time, just for it to be a jump scare of, oh, it's just Cafe Remix, which I thought was so funny.
No one talked about that.
No.
I'm glad you said that. Because I think that was extremely funny.
Crazy. Yeah, I think I saw Steve from like the Super Effective podcast talking about it on like a clip. They were like, what is this? Which I thought was pretty funny. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up on screen now. Okay, I don't know why my browser is not wanting to operate correctly. We'll have to get that sorted out at some point, because I would really like to get the actual presents thing on there, but that's okay. For now, we'll move along. But either way, some interesting stuff shown in the presents we talked about. Kyle, you said Palmont as a supporter potentially is an option. Bridget, what are you leaning towards Palmont's role being in Pokemon Unite?
I have no idea what they're gonna do with this guy.
Okay.
Well, really, what I'm thinking about primarily is Revival Blessing, which is Palmont's, like, maybe not signature move, like other Mons get it, but it's like a special move.
For sure.
And
he has defibrillator hands. Like that's his thing.
Clear.
Yeah, like a res, right? So I don't know what that means.
Come on, just say supporter, Bridget. Let's eat well.
That would be psychotic if they gave us another supporter.
Thank you.
I would be like, maybe the game is dying. I might concede. Like, I don't know. That would just be too crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be an all-rounder, but I just don't know how you bake that kind of ability into like an all-rounder type kit.
That's a good point.
So I'm a little perplexed.
I agree with Bridget. There's no world in the where this Pokemon is not an all-rounder. He's just a punchy hand Pokemon. Like, I think it has to be melee battle focused. We're looking at all-rounder. Now, and there's already have like their electric melee speedster in Zeraora, so I think that's kind of that archetype sort of already locked down. So I think we're looking at all-rounder. The rest is interesting. I actually think it's interesting for a different reason. Right now, Ho-Oh's res mechanic on the map is a fallen feather, right? While the Pokemon are waiting for respawn timer. How do you aesthetically make that work for Palmont? Like, I feel like you would need to have an unconscious Pokemon lying on the ground for you to run up and zap up to health. And I just don't see them or Pokemon ever approving something like that. So personally, I think, I don't know. I feel like the res mechanic for this Pokemon is going to be really, really tough. It could be a preemptive res. Now, some MOBAs have elements like this where essentially you apply a buff to a teammate, and if they get knocked out, they instead do not get knocked out during a very small time period. That could be kind of fun. So maybe we could see something in that vein. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Palmont does seem interesting. Let's talk about Electrode Volleyball for a sec, because those of the people in the pre-show got to see us play and experience, like, let's see Kyle experience it for the first time. But what are our thoughts on Electrode Volleyball? Bridget, you played the most out of the three of us, so talk to us about it.
Yes, I played almost right after the presents with Kello on her stream and her chatters for a little bit, and then just right before this, I'm just crashing streamers' chat rooms and being like, "Can I play in this Electrode Volleyball lobby?" So I did that to Buzzer Bob as well before this. So I probably played about, and then we just played. So I probably played about 10 games, but it's pretty fun. I must say, at first I was like, oh, okay, it's like cute, but I don't know like how much I'm gonna play it realistically. But it's like, I've been like watching other people play it today. I've been like thinking about it. So I actually think it's one of the better, if not best, casual game mode I think we've gotten.
Yeah. Oh,
I know.
Ooh. Bold take, Pika Party getting pushed out for Electrode Volleyball? This is crazy.
My personal fave.
All right,
but
fair.
I think as like a community overall type thing.
I got you. Kyle, how about you?
I think it's really fun. I want to see more of them. I think the more different modes that we have, the better, and they can like have a good rotation of them. But this one's definitely very fun. I'm excited to play a little bit more of it. I also like that it's 3v3. I think 5v5 would be way more chaotic. So I think it's it's also kind of nice that you can play with fewer people. So I think like having shameless plug for tomorrow, more tournaments with easier ways to get people and more people involved. It's easier to get like 3 people coordinated than 5. So maybe we could have some more like fun community tournaments. I'm really excited about it, and maybe we'll get some more modes.
Wow, Kyle taking every opportunity to plug farm to table Unite events. Love to see it.
Farm to table, grass fed.
Not the organic.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do think it's fun to see this played earnestly in a competitive fashion will be interesting. However, as a quick mode map, I think this is so fun. This is also the closest I think we've ever gotten to like an arena-esque mode. Right?
Ooh, yeah.
Like you start in a small
True.
enclosed area all at level 15. Like this is kind of like your team deathmatch quick mode battle game. That we don't really have outside of this mode, which is kind of cool. And then of course there's a ball flying back and forth for some kind of objective. But it is interesting. This is like they could just take out the electrode part of it all and make like a team deathmatch or a free-for-all style map. Which would be kind of interesting. See if they ever do that one day. But for the time being, this is really fun. I've had a blast with it. If you're interested in the meta game, feel like Snorlax is a must pick on this Pokemon. Block goes ridiculously hard when you're able to just knock people out of the AoE. Machamp feels like maybe the soft answer to that. Submission Machamp. I don't know. It's really interesting. I've been thinking about Power Whip Goodra a little bit as an option.
Ooh.
The Pokemon that everyone
I did
forgets
see some
we have a
testing on the
hook.
Goodra.
And how did it go?
He wasn't able to like really move people far enough. I feel like.
Okay, gotcha.
From what I observed, I think maybe it was Sprig. I was watching a lot of people play it. I think I was watching Spriggles play it as well.
Okay.
So I was locked in.
The doesn't move
volleyball.
them far enough makes sense to me. I feel like if you're gonna play a Pokemon like that, Ice Fang Mamoswine might be the better option. You can just like
yeah.
True.
grab them while they're in the circle and yeet them out to the other side. And it'll be interesting. Yeah, once the ball starts going over the walls, it gets anyway. What the fuck?
It gets crazy.
It gets so crazy. Yeah, Trevenant very very strong. We've seen some shenanigans already today for sure. But Kyle already mentioned it. Soft plug. If you're listening to this live tomorrow, we are going to be hosting on this channel, on the Unite Mike's channel, a Electrode Volleyball tournament. So if you want to sign up, links will be on socials. You can sign up I'm going to put up a little bit of cash for it. I think it's like a $90 prize for the winner of the tournament. So $30 per head of your team. Should be a good time. So anyway, tune into that. Let's talk about presents in general for a second before we move on to the rest of the stuff. I know we have a lot of generic Pokemon fans both on this call and watching this podcast. So other highlights from it, personally for me, I loved getting to see more Champions stuff. I thought it was very interesting. We got more from their website as well, which is kind of crazy. Like confirming that the stat adjustments and everything are all done via an in-game currency that can't be purchased. It's literally only earned via play, so it's like a hardcore player-friendly model. However, it does seem like the game might be a one-time purchase. That's not entirely confirmed, but it seems like that might be the case. But either way, like longevity of the game, that seems pretty cool. Percent HP was a highlight. A lot of like terminology in the battling made just a little more sense in this model, which is kind of cool. But I got to admit, I think the highlight for me of this presents was Pokemon Concierge 2 release date. I love Pokemon Concierge. That show flippin' rules. It is so good. So I was like over the moon that we were getting more Pokemon Concierge and getting an exact date. So I was pretty pumped about that. But maybe I'm alone on my very relaxing Pokemon Island. Kyle, how about you? Any other Pokemon Presents news that got you excited?
I mean, I'm with Bridget in that I was hoping that we would get a little bit more of ZA. That's what I'm really looking for. I think Legends was probably easily one of my favorite games to play in the Pokemon series.
Cool.
I don't know if everybody feels that way, but I thought I like that direction. And I guess like my biggest takeaway is it really does feel like Pokemon as a franchise is moving in the direction of making the main series games more like Legends and allowing the competitive format to live on champions. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting, because I can't imagine that whatever the next generation is will be played on anything but champions. So I'm excited to see how play Pokemon and like
Right.
Game
You're
Freak
you're referring to
playing with it.
VGC and like the
Yeah.
tournament circuit. Okay, yeah, I got
Mhm.
you. I think we're pretty aligned on that. Bridget, how about you? Any highlights from Pokemon Presents?
Definitely just kind of I'm an enjoyer, I feel like no matter what. So I'm always pretty like excited and happy to hear more. Like I said, Kyle and I were both a little underwhelmed by the ZA content. I think I'm just a little antsy because it's been 2 years, guys, which I'm glad they took the time to make this main series game. Like I am not mad about that in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just like it's you know it's coming and I want to know what's been up. Like tell me what's up, I just want to know. So I don't know, I'm getting to the point where it's like how I don't know, I'm anxious to see how the playtests go. I think that it's getting playtested at some conventions in the next couple weeks, so interested to hear how that goes because I have a Switch 2, love it. Already pre-ordered ZA. Like I'm playing
You're
it.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to sell me on it, but I would like to kind of know more because I did really like ZA, but I did not like bob, weave, dodge, duck, dip mode with all these Pokemon. So I'm a little like, how bad is this going to be for me?
Yeah. Yeah,
in
we'll
the dodging
see.
realm.
The battling looked a little more dynamic in some of the shots they showed, right? Where like you're moving, at least you're moving your Pokemon and they're doing moves and you're not just throwing a ball. So hopefully we'll see. Well, you know, you can never count out anything. They did show that you could actually customize your character's look, which is kind of hype compared to Scarlet and Violet, where they're like, you got the same terrible pants every time, which is horrendous. So I'm pretty excited with that.
Yeah, I am glad. Like this presents to me was like, okay, we're confirming a lot of like quality of life things. Like champion, that is all champions is to me. Is like, oh my god, you're making Showdown. Like, thank you. Yeah. Like finally, like it's just stuff we need, and so I'm glad to have all of it. But nothing is like, yes, like punching the air, like for me.
I wanted like 2 more mega reveals. I just wanted like 2 more mega reveals, like Dragonite.
I
like,
agree.
Give me 3, please. I want 3. Like
even
they could have given us the starters.
Yeah, they could have given us the starters. Could have given us the Kalos starters, maybe. Like, I think if they did anything, what they could have done is like even just shown 3 Pokemon going into the animation and then not showing what it looked like. Yeah, like, oh, those 3 Pokemon will be able to Mega Evolve now. Whoa, so that could be cool. But
yeah,
we'll see. So I feel like people are already inferring that. They're like, oh, they revealed kind of those new trainers that are part of like the team. They gave us some plot and lore.
Yeah.
And they were like, this person's partner Pokemon is Scraggy. Like, wink. This one's a Staryu. Like, everyone's like, okay, we are inferring that these are going to be the mega guys now. Yeah. So it's not like... But I know I underestimate how much Pokemon fans like don't want to hear anything.
That's true.
I am not quite like that, but I do underestimate how much the fan base does not want to know anything, and they want to just see it all in game for the first time. So
that is true.
I think people or Pokemon appeases to that crowd.
Have any
more
of
than
you...
people like me who are like, tell me.
Have any of you ever gone into a Pokemon game completely blind? Other than when you were a
I did
kid
that with Scarlet Violet. Yeah, I did with Scarlet Violet.
Scarlet Violet,
it was super fun.
Blind? That's cool.
It was super fun. Yeah. I really enjoyed that experience. So like it was really hard. Like I couldn't go on Twitter for like a week or a week or 2 leading up because I would see too many things. So yeah, I didn't know anything. I didn't search anything. I think the most I knew was the middle stage of the starters.
Okay, got you. Which a little bit of information, but not everything. That's good to know. Okay. Well, interesting. I think there's a lot more to talk about at the presents, but there's not too much more Unite things to really talk about, so we'll get into more later probably. But before we move into our next topic, Kyle, you weren't on our emergency Overdunk, where we talked about the producer letter that had a lot of exciting news to share. Spark Notes were, of course, new map changes, including Groudon, as well as mega licenses coming to the game, and then a commitment from September until December for 2 Pokemon getting added to the game every single month before the end of the year. Quick thoughts that you have about the future of the game and the producer letter?
Support Math Court because they're going to be busy. Like support Math Court because they are going to be busy and they do a lot of work, obviously getting us all the stats and figures of what the Pokemon do. But I'm super excited. I think this is the breath of fresh air that I'm hoping will help get people back into the game. I'm not sure if it was exactly enough of what everybody wanted, but this is like the good faith type of update that I think everybody needed to hear, that they are going to continue pushing and putting in new content and getting more people to the game. I'm really excited about that. I think you said it. I was watching back, and my immediate thought when they were talking about the new map, how the heck is Groudon getting to that tower? Like,
I know. I can't stop thinking about it.
I can't stop thinking about it. Like, can we?
I'm concerned.
I think
that's a lot of stairs for that guy. He's got short legs.
I think Spraggle's idea of Rayquaza carrying him there is the funniest option. You just see him underneath Ray the whole time as he flies and then airdrops him in would be awesome. But yeah, him just climbing a bunch of stairs would be hysterical.
So I hope we get a new map, like an actual new like skin for the map. It's not actually Thea Sky Ruins. It's like Thea Sky Ruins gets knocked down and like you're on the beach or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we said Thea Ground Ruins.
Thea Ground Ruins is good. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's really good. The mega license, I think, is probably the most like interesting thing to think about because of how many Pokemon that are already in Unite that have a mega evolution, and then also how are they going to implement it? Like my assumption is that it'll be a separate license because obviously they're going to want to make people spend coins or gems or whatever.
Sure.
So surely it'll be a separate license or maybe like an upgraded license. I think there's so many ways they can do it. And also, like, is this going to change what type of Pokemon it is? Is it going to change from certain Pokemon going to change from a supporter to an all-rounder or whatever it is? Like,
Attacker
there's
Gengar. Give me Attacker Gengar and I would be over the moon. Or like Defender Metagross. Or it wouldn't really make sense for Metagross, I guess. But it could be pretty sick. I think that'd be some fun.
I could see it.
You like Speedster Latios, So now he's like even more of a jet plane. Zipping around.
Yeah.
I can see it. But yeah, I'm super excited. I think it's a good update.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to see what we'll get to find out at Worlds because I imagine there's going to be some more information that we'll know about Unite at the Worlds.
We usually get we usually get some piece of announcement right at Worlds. I have to imagine we'll actually get to look at the new map at the World Championships, so I'd be shocked if that's not the case. Other than that, I think we probably get a few more Pokemon being added. Maybe a look at what Mega Pokemon will be in the game is probably what we end up seeing. Well, I'm interested. I'm very interested. But okay, let's move on to our next topic, everybody. We had a new Pokemon added to the game for free, technically, I should say, at no cost into the game, as Latios has now been made available. Happy 4th anniversary, everybody. A new attacker has jumped into the game. And of course, here on Overdunk, we got to give this Pokemon a report card. If this is your first time ever checking out one of these podcast episodes, we do this for every new release that's happened this year. And at the end of the year, we will be giving Pokemon Unite a GPA? Just an overall grade throughout the rest of the year. So reminder, we're going to be ranking Latios on its fun level, its balance level, the flavor/theme, how viable it is in solo queue, how viable it is in competitive, and then of course we'll be giving it Hundo Burger level, which is how many Hundo Burgers out of 5 does this Latios get all of these categories are very objective and not subjective at all. So don't worry about it. Last clarifier is that these are letter grades like you would receive on a report card here in the Western world, and that does not include the S rank. So A plus is the highest grade, and F is the lowest grade that we can give Latios on any of these categories. So, without further ado, let's start talking about Latios a little in general before we start jumping into these categories. Bridget, Kyle, have either of you gotten the chance to play the Blue Jet Plane at all?
Oh, I played it quite a bit.
Okay, okay, good.
Okay, good. We need jokes. I have not played it at all
Okay.
because I'm not winning any of the giveaways. They're all rigged, and I'm trying to unlock it for free.
Okay.
Which I don't think I've ever done with a dice game mon. I've just never cared enough to like check what it wants me to do
Oh,
and
yeah.
press the buttons. So now I'm trying to do it that way, but we'll see.
I think I did it with,
So far, so good.
I think Suicune, because I wanted to get the Hollowware or whatever
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Which
I did
like
that
was
too.
also the Dice Quest thing, which I thought was kind of a cool gimmick back then. But watch that episode. That's not this episode. We're in a different one. But okay,
Chill.
Kyle, you played it the most. We'll get your thoughts here just a second. I have not played the Latios very much. I think like literally maybe a game. However, I have watched a ton of Latios play from every single streamer who has been operating these giveaways. It does seem really, really interesting. If anybody has not seen this Pokemon in action yet, it is an attacker Pokemon that scales into the late game heavy. Either one of your move 1 options play off a mechanic called Eon Power. I don't know why I made that invisible. There it is. Called Eon Power, which slowly raises over the game by knocking out wild Pokemon, knocking out enemy Pokemon. It goes up faster if you get enemy Pokemon. And it does different things depending on what move you pick. Specifically, one of the moves a lot better than the other. But we'll talk a bit more about that. But let's get, Kyle, your overall first impressions on Latios after playing a bunch of it.
Overall impressions, I think it's very strong. But it does have like a little bit of counterplay in coordinated stacks. But it is incredibly strong, especially in that like solo, duo, trio environment.
Okay.
Like you can really take over games with it. Do you want me to start with any of what I think about any of these categories, or just?
No, just like first impressions. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
pretty good. It feels better in solo, but there is counterplay to it. I mean, at the end of the day, it has a red background behind it, right? Like I
Yep.
feel like that's kind of the attacker motif. It does have one small dash, and its Unite move can also help it get out of danger, but not that well. So it does have some versatility there, but it can
Yeah.
still get dove, which is very interesting.
Yeah, the Unite move's a little clunky at times. It gets canceled a lot. I found there were many times, just with how much damage is in the game, you'll lock on to like your primo target, and your Unite move gets canceled because they get KO'd before it can fire off. So, but it does refund you, which I think is nice.
Okay.
If that does happen, it goes like to like 90% or something like that if it does get canceled or whatever.
Okay, pretty good.
But it is also very easy to play if you understand the kit. I think like my biggest comparison to like the Dragon Pulse move set is it's very much like Icicle Spear Glaceon, but also like more mobility because it that built-in dash. So it's like a better Icicle Spear Glaceon, almost just as annoying too.
Right. Yeah, I'm not excited for that. I have been very well known for hating Icicle Spear Glaceon on this podcast, but it is what it is. Okay, let's get into grading this Pokemon a little bit. Let's start with fun, and I actually think this might be one of the more interesting letter grades we give this Pokemon because it could be varied. But Bridget, let's start with you. I know you haven't gotten the chance to play this Pokemon yet, but fun can be a bit of an appeal value as well. So seeing this Pokemon in play, seeing it by streamers or either in your ranked games, how excited are you to try playing Latios?
Good question. I do feel like I like attackers usually, but I kind of rarely play the new attackers for the most part, but I feel like from watching other people play it, it seems like it's pretty fun to kind of grind with and figure out. Obviously, it's most likely going to be a strong contender at World, so I understand wanting to learn the kit regardless, but and maybe it's the dev leather effect. Everyone's just like a little higher on the game right now, I think, with the that coming out recently.
True.
But I don't know. It seems like people are having fun.
Okay.
So I would give it like a B. Like it doesn't seem like groundbreaking, but I do feel like stacking like the Eon energy is like a fun little mini game within the game.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
And it's like an infinite stack, so have fun.
Yeah, infinite stack is a cool prospect for sure. Kyle, how about you? Where does this thing rank on the fun level?
I kind of have like two answers to this.
Okay.
Because the first moveset, the Dragon Pulse with Luster Purge, I think it's not very fun.
Yeah,
in the
I
sense
agree.
That, like, just like you're just moving around, you're hitting your buttons, and you delete things. Like especially like in the late game. Maybe if you think that part's fun, okay, then it's fun that you get to just be overpowered. But like from like a kit perspective, I don't think it's like super fun. Again, it's like Icicle Spear Glaceon. It's nice to do damage, but there's nothing like that really excites me about it. And especially to do very well, you are very much kind of like required to get at least 100 stacks because by the late game, it's just too powerful to not have those extra meteors fly out. So sometimes you're just like literally just sitting back hitting your wild Pokemon.
Okay.
Unless you have like a good frontline tank to kind of farm up the enemies with the boosted autos. So that one's like to me that one's not very fun, but I really enjoy just my playstyle. I really like playing attackers, and I like the telekinesis with the Draco Meteor build, but it's
Ooh.
not very good. But it is very fun because of the plays that you could set up.
Right.
Because of hit one telekinesis target, hit another, make them hug, and then drop meteors on them. Like that is a like just by like it's fun. That
You
is
sold
that
me.
is fun. But it's sometimes it's hard to get those plays set up because there's so much unstoppable in the game and like Blissey exists, all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really so if you had to like kind of from the pocket give a letter grade, sort of merge those two ratings, where would you end up?
Maybe like a B-.
Okay. Yeah. I too think I am in the B- rating. I honestly could go as low as C though, or maybe even C+. I personally, I just think this Pokemon, the good moveset looks so like one of the least fun movesets I've seen. Unite
it's also very unfun to play into.
Yeah, it's not fun to play
I walk
into.
too close, I'm dead.
Can you even body block the Aeon bursts?
No.
Yeah, this thing's gonna get C+.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Yeah, they just kind of follow.
Well,
they
okay,
follow.
but Meteor is fun.
Isn't it
You know
fun
what?
to
We'll do
play,
B-.
though?
I don't think
like,
the one
it's never
moveset
fun
is
to play
but...
against anything.
No, that's true. I'm trying to rate it off play though. Like I do think the Dragon
Yeah, that's
Pulse
what I'm
Luster
saying.
Purge moveset, it doesn't seem fun to me. But
yeah, that's fair. I just thought it was getting into the.
But the
you
Meteor
can't dodge
Meteor
it.
telekinesis is good. So for that, we'll get it out of the C tier for me. And I say good in that it is fun to play. Like that is a fun mechanic to line those things up, and eventually in the late game you're landing 1,000 meteors. It's also
it's just funny.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And also
There's some
that
memes about that too.
that's just more fun of Aeon stacking too, right? Like that it affects your move in a cool, tangible way. Just getting little triangles to fire out after does not feel like the fun way to do it. So yeah, I will be content with a B-. That's fine. Let's talk balance level on this Pokemon. I am curious what we all think. This is one of the first times that we've gotten the chance to do a report card a little bit after a release. I feel like, Bridget, you and I are mostly thrown into the deep end like day of release. And we're like, I don't know. And we, we've been inconsistent sometimes, but this we might have the chance to give it a bit of a better balance level. So Kyle, we'll start with you. Where you thinking this Pokemon lands on the balance level spectrum?
So we're saying like an A would be it's perfectly balanced.
A plus would be.
A plus is perfectly balanced,
Yeah.
and then F is like it's giga busted or terrible.
Yeah.
Unbalanced.
I think it's on the lower side of balance. I think it's probably a C. Like I think it's overtuned in the late game. Yeah, I mean it's very overtuned.
It's
in the
weaker
late game.
early game. Does not accommodate.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I guess I'm coming from this as like from a non-coordinated perspective.
Sure.
Because you can really just off lane take the farm that you need to get your stacks, and in late game you get a quadra KO because the enemy just walks too close but not close enough to take you out.
Interesting. What
like,
do you rank better than?
I've gotten like 3 or 4 pentas on this thing, and I'm not a good player by any means. Like I don't think I should be able to get pentas.
You're in
right
good company. It's okay.
like I shouldn't be getting pentas day 1 on this thing. So I think it's lower, it's less than balanced.
Okay.
But there is counterplay, so it's not like an F. I would probably say like C plus.
Okay, interesting. I was not getting the vibes that it was this broken. Like a C plus level of broken. That is curious. Bridget, when you've played against this thing, I'm sure a decent amount. What are your vibes on it?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely depends. Like sometimes you can tell who knows the stacking, the Eon energy stacking mechanic, and who doesn't
okay. Yep.
playing this mon. And it's hard to play against because you kind of never know how much damage you're gonna take from the auto. Like it's I don't know what the move is, but it's whatever. Like
Dragon
it has like
Pulse,
the Espeon sword power effect where like just auto shoots out. Yeah, that is rough. That is brutal, and it's hard to play into because yeah, it's just a little unpredictable, I have found. Like they're either popping off or it feels like they're like lost in the sauce. So at first I thought it was more balanced than I do now. Now I feel like it's pretty strong. I feel like the only thing that helps its cause is I feel like it's like a very brawly like meta right now.
It is, yeah.
But
they did buff Charizard and Gyarados quite a bit for
like
this
every
patch.
tank.
Every tank.
Like it's just I think maybe in a more like appealing meta to like a mage like this, it would maybe be doing even better. But
okay,
I would feel comfortable with like low B, like C. I don't think it needs a buff.
Yeah, please don't.
Maybe one of the moves, but I think they need to. I know, like you can't. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I usually see people get like 100 to 200 stacks on this guy, but I feel like they need to make that like a cap.
Yeah, there should probably
instead
be
of
a
just
cap.
like infinite. But I
Yeah,
don't
like
know
at
if that would
Ray.
really how much that would tune.
At like Ray, there were moments where I'm like just over 100 stacks, maybe 125, which is usually kind of like average, but you're one-shotting things. Maybe not tanks, but you're one-shotting every single attacker on the roster with just a click of a button. And I don't think that's very balanced.
Okay. All right. C plus it is. I feel like it's a little. I think I'm outvoted here, but I would personally push for like B, like a solid B grade, just because I don't think the meteor set is very good. But I guess that doesn't.
Fair.
I guess that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? Like that also could be a demerit in the balance level conversation, as if that isn't very good. So okay, interesting. Balance level, not so great. Let's go to a category that I think Latios might perform better in the flavor/theme portion. Now, this is tough because its other half, for lack of a better word, is not in the game yet. And it's literally how its whole passive and a lot of its move mechanics function off of. However, we do have some mechanics that make a little bit of sense for it. It does feel like a psychic attacker to me. Draco Meteor feels like the best version of like a dragon move we've had in the game potentially so far. Like we've had a few iterations of like Dragon Breath or Dragon Pulse. I think Draco Meteor just looks very cool and like a dragon move. So I think flavor theme, Latios is kind of crushing it. The only thing, and like this is a dumb request because it would be out of balance, I just kind of wish it was faster. I wish it moved quicker. Like, I know that's kind of an insane thing to want. However, when it starts zipping around to Latios, it probably will. So I want to give this thing like a solid A.
I agree with that, actually. I think it's very on brand for it.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of nailed it with once Latias comes, I think it'll definitely feel more like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, because it is relatively fast. Not in like a jet plane, but I imagine when Latias comes, it is going to be a little crazy. But yeah, like you said, Draco Meteor, it's just such a cool looking move.
Yeah.
It's easily the best. And it reminds me of playing like the main series games.
Cool. I'm down. I'm not saying it's A+, right? Like if it was A+, it would have, I don't know, some like invisibility mechanic or whatever, like it does in the movie. But we're not giving it that. We're like, and what, it turns invisible and Latias can like transform into humans or something, right? I think for people who know the movie I'm talking about, they're all acknowledging that I'm so smart right now.
You are smart.
But anyway,
nailing it.
Okay, I'm sitting at an A. Bridget, are you going to contend for lower, even a push for higher? Where are we feeling?
I must say, other than Draco Meteor, I feel like its moves and its Unite move are pretty like whatever to me. But what I do really like is its model. Like I like that when it's like standing there, it has its little arms out, but when it's moving, it like tucks its little arms in like a little jet plane. I think that's very cute. I like it a lot. And I really like its dunk animation. It's like whips around the whole map and like dunks it. It's like it's a very beautiful slam dunk. So
cool.
For those two reasons, I would be down for an A. I would even personally, I would maybe give it a B, but.
Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on. We need to do something well. We'll give it A. Actually, it might do pretty well in this next category. Solo queue viability for Latios. Kyle, you're the one that have played it by far the most. What letter are you giving this thing? Is it like A+? Is it A?
A+.
A+.
I think A+.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you could confidently take this Pokemon into most of your solo queue games and feel confident that you can carry the game.
Okay.
Because it especially once you hit your level 5. So if you're playing solo queue, probably take that in the central area just so you get your level 5 as fast as possible.
Right.
If you're with another XP share, you could take it in Path. It's fine. Most of the games I played in Path with an XP shareholder and felt very confident. But yeah, you could carry a game with it. So it feels pretty strong because if you fall behind, you can farm up your Eon energy and then get a Pentat Ray by hitting all 5 attackers that the enemy queued up in solo queue as.
Okay, yeah. So the solo queue environment doing some help here. That's good to know. Okay, I mean, no arguments from me. This seems really, really strong. Bridget, how about you?
Yeah, I was curious how it performed in the Unite API like meta rankings for the week, and it had the second highest win rate, only under Ho-Oh, but they were both at 55% win rate as the top 2 highest. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty strong.
All right, I like it. Competitive viability, where this Pokemon lands, I think is interesting. I think it gets exposed a little bit more by like good teams and coordinated teams. I also think the effect of its passive will be very tough to achieve in a competitive setting. I think you'll be able to ban out or counterpick at a lot of its other half. But it's still a decent attacker on its own right. It does need to scale though, so if you fall behind, It might be tricky. I'm thinking maybe B, even B minus. Bridget, what are your thoughts?
I feel comfortable with that. Like, I don't know if it's quite ban worthy yet. Like you said, it's not like you have to block the Latios pick just yet. I do think attackers, or at least like that bot lane attacking position, is in an interesting spot right now with Intel basically getting shot dead in the alley. It just opens up that spot a lot more. He's also, I don't think it's too bad, but Drizzile, the middle evolution is bugged right now, I believe, which I think hurts its cause even more.
They had to do that. They had to do that.
Yeah,
I know.
Zoinks and I were too good on that Pokemon. They had to nerf
That's true. Yeah,
that's what TPCI
okay. You guys can
told
play
us.
Liquidation. I believe you. I believe you. Those ambassadors, they just know everything. But yeah, I am interested to see. I think it could be runnable in like bot path. Like, I don't think it would necessarily require jungle in a 5-stack, but I'm not sure how it necessarily compares to like the Mew matchup, or like what are the other popular picks or counter picks going into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of contention for that one. Attacker's been a weird role this year because it always feels like, oh, it might be crazy, and then it's like, well, it's just kind of Inteleon. Yeah, is there anything else? Well, no, maybe it's just kind of Inteleon. So maybe now we finally have some flexibility there. We'll see. Okay.
Hopefully.
Any arguments with a B rating for competitive viability, Kyle?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty fair. I think it does get kind of countered by speedsters along with like any of like those snipers. I'm thinking Bridget mentioned the Mew matchup. Mew kind of eats its lunch because it could just stay at a safe range, and
Charge Beam Miraidon do pretty well into this. I feel like either build Miraidon actually does pretty well into this Pokemon.
Yeah, because it could stay out of the range of the Dragon Pulse or the Draco Meteor. So anything that can outrange it should have a good matchup into it from attacker wise. But like you said, like there is counterplay. It is very strong. So if in the comp meta, we don't see as many of those snipers outside of Inteleon. So I guess maybe Mew to a little bit lesser extent. So I think it depends on the matchup. You could see it really pop off, but you could also see it really struggle, which I think is a good place for it to be in like the comp meta.
Yeah, some would say balance level, not C+, maybe higher. But anyway, let's move on to our final category, the Hundo Burger level. How many Hundo Burgers out of 5 are we giving this thing? For frame of reference, I believe Alcremie got 3 Hundo Burgers on our last rating. What are we giving Latios? I'm gonna be honest, I feel like 3 might be a befitting rating. Anybody have any other opinions? Reminder, we cannot do halves.
You can't do a half burger?
I don't know how to edit the PNG on this to do that.
We don't have the technology for that.
We don't have the technology.
Be realistic.
Gotta submit for a half PNG. Hold on. Tell our editor.
I don't know. Like, maybe I'm being the doob snacks of the show today, which means I'm being a downer. But I give it 2, honestly.
A 2? Wow.
Yeah.
You remember the cool goal scoring animation? Remember when you had so much fun with the goal scoring animation?
Yeah, I mean, I like that part, but everything else, I'm kind of just like, okay.
Okay, interesting.
I like it.
I do wish Latios. I wish Latios. I think if it released with Latios, I would like it more.
You know what?
Ironically,
that's so incredibly based. I think that's true. I think this is where we leave it. I think 2 Hundo Burgers makes sense to me. Kyle, I know you'd probably want higher. Kyle, if you were making this alone, how many Hundo Burgers out of 5 would you give this thing?
Probably 3.
Okay. Wow. Not even going to 4 for a Pokemon you've been well, let's just say it, abusing on the rank ladder.
Hard.
I was
So,
abusing
no.
it. I wanted to get masters, guys. I wanted to get masters.
Fair.
Maybe that's why I'm Ultra 5.
Well, yeah, and there's me who I somehow, I don't want to talk about my Ho-Oh win rate this season. It's actually so insane for how broken that Pokemon is. I can't figure out how to win with it. But okay, for audio listeners who are just skipping to this point of the podcast, Latios, in its report card, final rankings, its fun level, a B-, its balance level, a C+, the flavor/theme, an A, solo queue viability, A+, competitive viability, a solid B, and it is getting 2 Hundo Burgers levels out of 5. And that's your Pokemon Unite new release report card recap. Brought to you by us. We did it.
Let's go. We did it.
All right. Well, the last thing we wanted to talk about today is, of course, going to be the U Impact patch. This happened, like, I think 2 days after we had our non-emergency podcast episode last week. We had 2 episodes last week. It threw the whole timeline out of order. But we didn't talk about the patch at all in the emergency episode because we had so much other stuff to chat about. So now is going to be our chance to talk about this patch, aka U Impact. First and foremost, can we all just agree that's got to be the worst patch name we've gotten so far?
Yeah.
They're
Oh yeah.
getting worse.
Yeah,
they
they're getting
started
worse
off
somehow.
so cool.
Yeah.
Who comes up
Why
with
did
these?
they? Why? What happened?
Can we give that a report card?
Yeah, no, they do
I
not
do
want
like
that.
the font, like color.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
choice.
sure. Yeah, it's like shiny.
Font's good.
She's cute.
Name.
Yeah,
We should do a
Why
tier
just the
list for the
U?
patch names
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
we could. Well, I got a
It's
strong
worth
contender
doing
for
because they've
F tier.
declined. Yeah.
Most
I
people
was
don't
rough
even
on
make
Next
an F tier.
Steps.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Bridget was rough on Next Steps. This one is far worse. However, has it made an
Yeah.
impact? I guess we'll see. Okay, no. I feel like this is the first
No
patch in a
new
minute we
impact.
haven't had like an overall systems change. I feel like we're having like, like experience changes to the map and things like that. But first and foremost, first Pokemon to get big adjustments is Charizard. To no one's surprise, we got a brand new Hollowware in the Gotcha machine, and therefore Charizard getting some nice buffs. Big defense buffs to its late game scaling. I was taking a look at a few of these numbers on Unite DB. Defense and Spadef, both getting nice buffs, but only once you hit that Charizard stage. So once you get to level 7, you really start getting to feel that bulk. The basic attacks do a little bit more damage now to burned opponents. So your Flamethrower and Fire Punch giving that burn effect. Now your basic attacks will hit a little bit harder after landing those moves. Flamethrower gets a 10% damage increase. Flamethrower Plus's burn damage over time also gets an increase. So some Flamethrower changes as well as some basic attack changes. And then of course just making Charizard a bit more bulky. This is a Pokemon I've actually had a little bit of success with. The rare success I've had in the Unite ladder. I was having some fun with Charizard. It's a Pokemon that's like kind of seen like niche play in competitive, sort of like a speedster counter. With more defense buffs, I do think it becomes a bit more viable. I just really do think this Pokemon is such a hard time laning that it makes it really difficult to consider Charizard as an option, especially in ladder. But what are you guys thinking about Charizard? Kyle, we'll start with you.
It's really strong. Yeah, I think it's obviously feels better in the central area. Get that level 5 as fast as possible. It's not like the most impactful level 5, but it still gets the job done. Yeah, if you want to play it in path, especially in solo queue, you're probably going to have a bad time. If you have at least a duo that's wearing an EXP share for you, it's mostly fine.
Right.
But yeah, the buffs feel really good. It's really annoying into Latios, I will tell you that. Because it just like I tell you every time you're getting Unite moved as Latios every single time.
100%.
Right.
So it's definitely strong. So I could see this being kind of a menace in competitive in certain situations.
Okay.
Obviously it was previously, but the extra damage to all of its abilities and that extra defense just definitely gives you a little bit extra staying power. So it makes it at least a little bit more viable, especially like at Ray. But it does open up for some counter picks.
Totally. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Any more thoughts on Charizard, Bridget?
No, they said Overlord Go and win worlds, kid. We'll buff your goat.
We got the rest of your Pokemon last patch. We're gonna get Charizard this one. However, we
Can't
did
say
nerf
Yeah.
Cinderace. So they're like, you can win, but you just can't bring Jungle Book. Just make sure.
Yeah, no Jungle Books allowed this year. He's done. But yeah, honestly, Charizard feels pretty powerful. I haven't seen it too much, honestly, but when I do, I'm not having the best time. It doesn't feel awful, but it's definitely much stronger.
Yeah.
So I think pretty deserved. It's not made me want to put down my controller and walk away
Okay,
just yet. So
Good.
we'll take it.
We'll see how close we can get to that benchmark because Charizard has been one of those Pokemon where we are just like we're slowly tuning it up
Yes.
every patch, you know, like where the Charizard dial is just getting slight adjustments every single. Eventually, this thing is going to be insufferable, but so far feeling just strong, but not crazy, not crazy amazing, but still doing fine. Gyarados, getting a few changes. First off, again, getting a little bit more defense. Bounces shield duration now goes from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Kind of a nice change. Aqua Tail damage going up by 18%. And then Aqua Tail Plus, the base damage goes up and does even more damage on the opponent's missing HP. So the execute on that second hit is going to be from 15% to 20%. This is another Pokemon I've been playing a decent amount after the patch. Aqua Tail feels so much better. Not to use. I don't want to say that. It is still a annoying move to try to aim and utilize with Gyarados. However, the damage is way stronger. I noticed it while playing Gyarados. I noticed it more playing against Gyarados. I was like, oh my gosh, that like hurts
Interesting.
way more than I expected whenever I'm getting smacked by some Aqua Tails. So if you're running into the Gyarados early on, watch out. I've been playing a lot of Bounce Aqua Tail, which has been kind of fun. I know the normal synergy is usually Waterfall, but the shield change pretty good. Defense getting boosted makes you feel a bit stronger and bulkier to jump into some fights. So yeah, I've been vibing on this Pokemon. I really like Gyarados this patch, and they finally gave it a good Hollow Air in the Battle Pass. So W, because Gyarados, in my opinion, has not had a good one in the game yet, and finally that Captain one is actually sick.
It's pretty nice.
Okay, you like the hat? He finally has a hat you like?
Yeah. His other hats sucked, to be fair. So I like this new hat.
Dang. Okay.
I'm always going to go hat over helmet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
need a
You know,
hat
that's
held
good to
item
know
then.
about you.
Yeah. If any of you are considering Christmas or birthday gifts, just remember hat over helmet.
Yeah, that should guide you
Mhm.
steadily.
Exactly. All right, Bridget, any thoughts on the flying fish?
Yeah, I do feel like Gara needed a little something, so glad Aqua Tail, which is it just feels like it's such a stepchild of a move set, but it's like good. I don't know, ever. Like I'm like, did it deserve this? Like I guess. Like wasn't
Mhm.
it pretty good before? I don't know. I guess it wasn't as good, but it seems like Gyarados needed this. Honestly, another guy I haven't seen a lot of, and if I do, it's like the guy on my team who like is the Magikarp until the 6-minute mark. So haven't seen too much from Gyarados' in my personal experience.
That's why you got to play him in Electrode Volleyball and start at level 15. It's the vibe.
You're so right. Makes everything better.
All right, Kyle, any thoughts on the fish?
I think it's very strong as well. The buffs definitely feel nice. I mean, it still kind of has that same problem in that early game. Until you get evolved, it's kind of useless. So
Well,
I
that's
think
the
it
point.
still kind of suffers from either if you're playing with it like in competitive, obviously like a little bit easier to kind of coordinate and make sure that you're able to try to get an assist or a KO.
Mhm.
But in solo queue, it seems like if your jungler decides to go bottom and the enemy jungler goes top, which seems to like always happen every time I try to lock down the fish, I'm just like you're just gonna have a bad time. So, but the buff's still pretty nice. I think we haven't seen bounce in a while, so I'm excited to see if we'll start to
Yeah.
see that again because bounce has always been one of those moves where I was like, I really like this on Gyarados because it offers a lot of like cool play in the sense that you can use that bounce charge to like dodge some crowd control and stuff. So
Mhm.
might be able to see some more of that, especially with those shield buffs.
Yeah. That'll be great. Yeah, the 3 to 5 second increase. Be interesting. Yeah, I would be shocked if we didn't see a decent amount of Gyarados at Worlds. I think this Pokemon is a very viable option. So, excited, very excited about this Pokemon. Okay, another big exciting change of this patch. Ho-Oh getting a rework. So for the first time in a hot minute, we have a move rework. Is literally the last time. Is it Mime? The last time we got a move rework, right? Okay, so
gotta be, yeah.
Ho-Oh has now lost Fly and has gained Sacred Fire. The cooldown is going from 8 seconds to 12 seconds, so that's pretty long, but bear with us, this move's a lot better. Sacred Fire is basically like if you still gave it Fly, except now it chucked a fireball at the start and landed a wicked stun. Also, Ho-Oh has stuns now, which is kind of sick. Yeah. And yeah, our chat asking us, yes, mine did get reworked, but like eons ago. It went from
years ago at this point.
It went from guard swap to power swap. Its move, which is
when Thea dropped, I think.
Yeah. Many moons.
But Sylveon, I guess, was the last rework with Hyper Voice.
True. That is a good point. That is a good point. Yeah. Yeah, a very drastic move change. Yeah, that is true. But anyway, yes, Sacred Fire, throw a big fireball, and then you get to fly. For a short time, you're still able to fly over the same walls and everything like that. So Sacred Fire, a new version of Fly, and you get to stun, which is very cool. And now Fire Spin gets a little bit of a damage increase, decrease. It does a little bit less damage. However, it now stuns. So finally, Ho-Oh as a defender is given crowd control effects. This is really, really cool. Ho-Oh getting some, obviously already has mobility with certain moves, like, its big circle fly. How can I not remember that name right now? But having even more in Sacred Fire, Fire Spin is so exciting. Sky Attack. Thank you so much. Circle Fly, working title. But this, I don't know. This is a Pokemon that I think has been really, really strong on ladder. Rich, I think you read the Unite API stats at a 55% win rate. This is the part of the show that I admit I am 0 for 5 on Ho-Oh games on ladder this season. I don't know what's happening, but I am apparently bad at this Pokemon, and it's actually inspired. Like, after this, I'm playing a bunch of Ho-Oh. It's crazy. Toon, get out of my chat. I can't do this right now. Get these.
Is your controller plugged in? Is crazy.
I'm a mobile gamer. Okay, get Toon some money here. All right. Anyway, let's talk about Ho-Oh. This Pokemon's incredibly strong, despite my horrendous play rate. Thoughts on this Pokemon change, Kyle?
I think it's kind of what Ho-Oh needed. I think it might have been a little bit too much, but having I always felt like it was weird having Ho-Oh classed as a defender, but not having like really any crowd control ability. Like no stuns. Yeah, you have like the burn effects, but that was really about it. So it's nice that it has something like that, so it can potentially act a little bit more like a defender. But as I say that, like, man, Sacred Fire, I feel like this is like almost like borderline like how we saw Flail Snorlax for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
Where we've seen players like lock it in without an XP share and like maybe have like that bot lane attacker with XP share. I could see that being a very big possibility because I think this Pokemon is that strong, and playing it as a disruptor might be that way.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of like just basically top carry or just damage carry Ho-Oh being extremely strong, and it makes sense. I think we said it a few patches ago where like it feels that they really don't want defenders to be damage carries, like with some changes to a few of them, and like Trevenant, for example. Ho-Oh changing the narrative on that pretty well.
Yeah.
Bridget, any thoughts on Ho-Oh changes?
Yeah, this is the guy that I'm seeing on the other side of the lobby, and I'm like, dang, I am not excited about what's about to occur in the Thea Sky Ruins, to me specifically. It's really good. It feels like Ho-Oh has finally arrived, really. I like how they reworked it too. Like, it's literally just fly, but if it was good, and actually maybe too good. Like, that is really what it feels like. The range of the like first projectile kind of stun you get is diabolical. I feel like you shoot that thing from so far away.
Yeah.
it's just nuts, that range, I think, on that first kind of stun part of Sacred Fire, but it's a lot of fun. I love
Yeah.
playing it. I've only played maybe a handful of games, and it's pretty good. I do still, it's, the Unite move makes it much more difficult. It is pretty funny seeing people, like, I'm seeing people get resurrected so much more because so many more people are playing Ho-Oh that it's very funny seeing people, like, not paying attention.
Yeah. Immediately res and standing still.
I do
Yep.
it too. I do it too. It always catches me off guard. So it's kind of funny, that universal experience happening, because Ho-Oh's in
Right.
all of our lobbies now.
Yeah, you look at your
But I
monitor, you're
overall
like, that's
like it.
weird.
I
Why
do
is my
think
respawn
it's-
timer 20 seconds again? Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off there, Bridget. What were you saying about Ho there?
Just that I am glad to see it finally get some love. I
Yeah.
feel like it's been underutilized, and I'm excited to see, like, kind of like strategies and comps like built around it. I know it's probably going to be a little overboard here for a while. Like we said, it's probably going to be more of like a damage carry than like a true tank, maybe in some situations. But I'm kind of excited to see more of Ho-Oh,
Yeah.
even though it rocks me.
I'm right there with you. I'm scared of this thing. This is probably too strong, but I'm excited for Ho-Oh to finally be viable. So let's get it. Okay, Gardevoir getting some changes. Psyshock doing more Spadef reduction, and then Moonblast giving you a little bit more of a shield, which is interesting. Moonblast already kind of the counter dive option that Gardevoir has access to with the stun, but now it also shields yourself a little bit more. Also getting HP increases, defense increases, and Spadef increases. Kyle, you're the attacker boy on this podcast. Any thoughts on Guardy?
I mean, Guardy is one of my favorite mages to play, so it's kind of something that she needed. A lot of the other mage Pokemon received like that same buff.
Yep.
So like Espeon, like a couple patches ago, a lot of them got those defensives buffs. So I'm excited that it got it. I'm very interested to see like how this meta is going to play around, because Guardy's one of those Pokemon that if there's no speedsters on the map, it can be insanely powerful.
Yeah.
So like with more Ho-Oh, if we start seeing more Metagross, like when Tyranitar was really good, Gardevoir was really good. So I could see like some teams, breaking out like a central area Gardevoir for some matches. And it can really run away with some games. Its Unite move is insane. Like you can use your Unite move, farm your central area, and then go top, and you already have your Unite move back.
That's true.
It's so powerful, and having that Unite move, as long as you can hit the Unite move, that is, that is like one of the things that you have to do with that Pokemon. But
NA
I
notoriously
wanna
not
see it.
great at it, so we'll see.
But it's fun.
Yeah,
I think eventually we'll see it at Worlds.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This feels like one of those Pokemon that did get buffs, and I think it's better. I just do think it's still an outside case for a Worlds option. Like it's got to be central area carry in my mind. I think Lane Ralts is just too small, too little to really be a main contender. But that's my current thoughts on it. Bridget, any thoughts on Gardevoir?
I kind of agree with you. Like, I don't know. I don't really know if Guardy like needed it horribly. It obviously wasn't like thriving, but I didn't think it was necessarily like drowning either. But why not give it a little something? I don't think it's made it by far like uncontrollable or anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like changes like that that are just due to like, hey, listen, it's not getting enough play. Let's just tune it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's see if we add a few numbers so people play it more. And I'm okay with small changes like that, in my opinion. So excited about Gardevoir. Let's throw a few Pokemon in together, shall we? So a few of the tanks just getting changes. Crustle and Slowbro both getting more bulk changes. Crustle getting some defense increases. Slowbro getting some HP increased, as well as a Surf and Water Gun buff to Slowbro. Also, was Scald supposed to be increase or decrease? I think Scald was nerfed, was it not?
No, it was increased. Damage was increased.
Was increased? Okay. Gotcha.
I thought it was nerfed.
I
but...
think the in-game notes, like unlike your loading screens, say that Scald got a decrease, which is interesting. So, well, I'll look at DB.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'll see what DB said. Yeah, exactly. Crustle. Oh, they're alphabetical. Okay. They're not in order of the change. Interesting choice. Scald, yes, nerf. So nerf does less damage and a telekinesis bug fix, which I heard was a pretty sick thing. People were pretty pumped about that.
Nice.
So yeah, Scald getting a little bit of a nerf, which makes sense. You know, they're gonna tune up the crowd control. Let's nerf the damage a little bit. Some changes like that. Snorlax also getting that same defense buff, but a tackle nerf and a heavy slam nerf, as well as a flail nerf. So damage nerfs to Snorlax overall, but defense increases to Crustle, Slowbro, and Snorlax. How do we feel about the trifecta of tanks getting a little more unkillable? Bridget, we'll start with you this time.
I think very warranted, honestly. I just feel like tanks overall were in a pretty rough spot.
Yes.
So I'm glad. I feel like this patch should have been like defender patch, but I
defender
guess
impact.
Exactly. I guess that doesn't hit as hard as you impact, but what do I know? Definitely happy to see Slowbro get some more HP in that department. I mean, Crustal's bug fix alone is truly makes him viable again. Like, that alone was a treat, but obviously more HP and stats or more defense and special defense stats are super nice as well. I'm just glad they kind of tuned up some of these other tanks and kind of balanced out Snorlax a little bit, because it was clearly way above the rest.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised that Snorlax got defense and SPDF changes at all. However, I don't hate them, because I do think the tackle and heavy slam damage decrease is gonna be important. Tackle has been one of the strongest early game secures forever. So having that change is kind of nice. But yeah, the tanks were in a rough spot in Unite for a while. They needed some kind of big help. Slowbro and Crustle going to be the major, well, maybe Ho-Oh, the major winner here. But Slowbro and Crustle also close behind, I think, getting a lot better. Well, Kyle, sounds like you're mad or something about Snorlax getting more defense. What are you feeling?
I mean, this Pokemon is already like incredibly powerful and tough to take down. Adding the defense, I feel like it probably didn't need that. I don't think it needed that at all. I thought that even with the tackle decreases, I think it would probably still be a fine pick, because it's still a really good early game secure even with that nerf.
Totally.
The Slowbro change, I like that, because Slowbro, it was kind of like, I know people hate Slowbro because of the Unite move, but like competitively, it barely saw any play, because it did just lack sustainability. Like, this Pokemon was really easy to take down. Like, you look at the stats, and Slowbro notoriously one on the typically on the lower side of the HP and its defensive stats among all the tanks. So I think part of that might be power creep, but I like that change. But also, like, more Charizard, maybe more Slowbro now. So we'll maybe see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Crustle, I'm happy. I love Crustle, and I'm glad that we're going to probably start to see a little bit more of it in competitive, because I love that Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's now going to have the exact same stat line, except a little bit less SPDF, right, than Snorlax. Snorlax is going to have a little bit more special defense, but same amount of physical defense. It's kind of interesting. But all right, let's move along. Alcremie, I think, getting some very fair nerfs. Decorate, cooldown going up a little bit, the effect duration going downwards, and then the shield actually getting reduced by 25%. Dazzling Gleam, the damage getting a 12% decrease. The Unite move getting a slight shield amount change. 70% of max HP down to 60% of max HP. Bridget, you're our support main here. How you feeling about Alcremie changes?
Dude, they fricked me this patch. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. They nerfed like all of the things I play.
They kind of
The
did.
first like 3 days, I was like, dude, what do I even play anymore? Like this
Rapid
is
edge dodged
booty.
adjustments, I think,
But
is one of the only
not to
ones.
say they didn't nerf the best support, which is Rapid Ash. So
Mhm.
I still have the pony, but obviously Alcremie needed some tuning down. I feel like all of these were pretty valid. And honestly not detrimental to Alcremie at all. I think it's still pretty viable. And I've been kind of playing more in between with both movesets, and it's been pretty fun. So
Right.
I'm still grinding the Alcremie green badge for now, but it's not as free, I must say.
Okay. Hey, and the Kyle and I said together, good. Because
Yeah.
I think this thing.
I mean, I also love. I mean, like my most played Pokemon are all support.
I
so.
can't have support mains on this podcast anymore. Serena, triple axle, getting a 5% damage decrease.
Chill.
Stomp damage going up by 10%. All right, sorry, Kyle. Did you have any Alcremie changes you want to talk about?
No, I think it's a good change. It's still very strong. The Decorate, Dazzling Gleam build, it's fine. It's probably still the best build on it. So
Yeah.
it needed it. I'm glad that they tuned it down a little bit because it was kind of crazy, especially when you're out damaging speedsters with it. So yeah, good
Yeah.
changes.
Hey, when people learn to eat the dollops, then it's over for everyone.
It's hard to see them sometimes.
That's true. Honestly, valid.
They need to like make an orb around the dollops. Honestly, I think that would be
Like a little glow effect or something.
yeah, something like you think like
little
Eldegoss's
aura.
pollen puffs, like you can easily spot those. But the dollops, like one, they're tiny, and there's nothing that like shows like out like a bigger outline because sometimes they just get lost in people's feet if it's the enemy team.
That's true. All right, moving
You
on
can't pick 'em
to
up.
the next Pokemon, Zarina. Getting some changes thanks, Japan. Triple Axle getting a 5% damage decrease. However, Hello NA, Stomp getting a 10% damage increase. So, Stomp build going up a little bit. Triple Axle apparently just too powerful. And then the Unite move going down a little bit. Yeah, this Pokemon still does extremely well, especially in Japan. So, seeing some changes. Not too much of a surprise. Clefable getting a Moonlight cooldown increase from 8 seconds to 8.5 seconds. Cannot begin to tell you how fair I think that change is, by the way.
Yep.
I think Clefable was so strong before. Unite move. It's not actually named Metronome. I think it's a typo here, but the Clefable Unite move has now been increased by 11% to charge this thing up. Kyle, you're our resident support main. How you feeling about these Clefable changes?
Wow, Bridget's right here.
Yeah, it's messed up. He's sick and
I
tired
think-
of me.
I think
No,
it's
I just know the next Pokemon we're going to talk about, and I'm crying already. But let's talk about Clefable.
It's a
No, I
hard
think
one for
it's
both of
really good.
us.
I'm most interested in the Unite move change because that Unite move was insanely quick. Yeah, I think it was like one of the fastest, but it was like 89 seconds. So
Mhm.
it kind of changes like, oh, I can use it at 305 or maybe 310 if I get like 1 or 2 pieces of farm to I need to wait till I can't use it after 330. So that's a big change to it. But yeah, Moonlight change, not enough. Like a half second is nothing compared to like how long that moves up. So it's not much, but it's fine.
Okay. Bridget?
I do think the Unite move nerf is interesting because it's like the inherent RNG of Clefairy's
Yeah.
Unite move makes it
Bad.
just it will always not be good.
Right.
Like it will always be bad. Like unequivocally.
You'll always
So I
remember the
feel like
times it was bad.
nerfing- Yeah, like trust me, it's gonna be bad 75% of the time for some reason, and then you'll explode and no one will be around, and it'll make you sad. Like it's just not. I don't know. Like I thought that was kind of like a little unnecessary. Like I don't know. I guess obviously it's pretty nice for like secures as like another tool if your teammates aren't paying attention, but I don't know. I feels too unreliable to be like this is the problem with Clef. Obviously, the Moonlight cooldown I think is valid. I still just don't think Clef is like. I feel like it's a problem in the sense that it's like it's pretty like simple and easy and like annoying
Sure.
to play, but in terms of like actual threat, I feel like it's not that. But I understand they're balancing for ladder in this regard because they give us a clear these ones we're only doing for competitive line this time.
Yeah, that is interesting. We'll talk about that in a bit too. And yeah, I think Clefable, even if win rate, I think just like ban rate, it was probably getting a ton of, mostly from me.
Oh, like
it's my go-to ban. So
it's still the number 2 most banned.
Okay, yeah.
Without Cremi, but both of their win rates are like out of the top 10.
Interesting. Okay. Wow, that's
Clef is 10th and Cremi is like 16th.
Okay.
Which are still high up there, but it's like I think it just shows like from a player base perspective, like people hate supports a lot more. Well, there's just not as many.
That's a big one.
It's a more unified front on hatred where it's like all rounders. It's like, oh, there's so many you could hate, you know?
Exactly.
So I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you're turning a corner on Clefable, starting to understand us all rounders who are having to deal with these Clefables. It's just too difficult for us.
2 things can be true at once.
That's also true. Okay. Garchomp getting a few nerfs for some, well, not for some reason. Garchomp did probably need nerfs. I think this thing's win rate was doing extremely well. Dig and Earthquake are getting nerfs, which I think is comical. Dig now throws for half the time from 1 second down to 0.6 seconds, so a much smaller stun from Garchomp's Dig. Earthquake damage is going down by 10%. Whatever, who cares? Dragon Claw goes down by 10%. That's a pretty important nerf. And then Bulldoze from 7 to 9%. Okay. So yeah, Garchomp getting a slap on the fin, I guess, is what he has. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I was really enjoying the Dig Earthquake moveset. I got to admit, it was just fun to try something new on one of my favorite Pokemon. It finally felt like it was a solid realm of playability, and with the throw duration getting halved and Earthquake damage, it's just, oof, you may as well go back to the other one. But I do think Garchomp is just like crushing it on win rate for a little too long, so it did need some changes, but it does hurt to see. I think we all think those changes are wild. So let's move on to a different wild change. Cinderace getting a nerf. Blaze Kick going from 9 seconds to 9.5 seconds on the cooldown, which, sure. And Blaze Kick plus attack speed increase after use from 65% down to 45%. The sustained attacks following the significant attack speed increase from Blaze Kick were powerful. Yeah, that's how the move works. The move's cooldown and the attack speed increase have been slightly reduced to create opportunities for opponents to counter-attack. What dev was getting abused by Cinderace Blaze Kick in lane? They're like, we gotta nerf this thing. Oh, Bridget, maybe? Are you in favor of these nerfs?
Well, I have a lot of friends who were like genuinely like sad about Cinderace nerfs. Like they were like literally like, how could you do that? Like offended almost, I would say. Which, you know, I get it. But also when I saw this, I was like, good. I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's just like the season 1 in me where it's just like this bunny has had it too good for too long. And it's also, it's not even that he's like obviously always been good. It's just like people love to play Cinderace. It's kind of like Greninja. Like people just love to play them. And
people love that A button.
They cooked.
Yeah, man.
If we gave Cinderace a report card,
it.
If we give Cinderace a report card, it would crush, by the way. I think they nailed so many aspects of the design of Cinderace. Low-key, the sound effects on every single one of Cinderace's moves are immaculate. Like, it is such a satisfying Pokemon to play.
Like, honestly, maybe that's it. Like, the sound effects, like, have a neurological response to your little synapses in your brains, like, popping off like crazy because this guy is in my lobbies every single day of my life.
This
So
guy.
that's how I feel. I don't know about you guys. I understand that. Did he need this? No. But for me, I'm like, yeah.
This
you
Fire
know what,
Rabbit's
get
had
him.
it too good for too long.
I'm
That's
like,
my
you know
favorite
what,
moment.
get him.
Awesome.
I don't know.
I love
Personal
that.
experience, maybe.
Okay, Kyle, have you been traumatized by Cinderace over 4 years of this game? Happy anniversary, by the way.
Not
happy
nearly as
birthday.
much, but I still think like this Pokemon's incredibly powerful in the right hands. Like I think it has a lot of outplay potential. So maybe they got bullied by some really good Cinderaces because I mean, just the ability to reposition people in a fight, reposition yourself, and then like I never understood why so many people played that flame charge build opposed to feint because feint to me is so
God, it's
insane like with
so
outplay potential like
annoying.
dodging entire unite moves
You could
like
just dodge it with Flame Charge. I've had the same argument with Wonder Chef every tournament. Like, we always, he's
Not
like, Fate's
really.
good, and I'm like, no, Flame Charge is better. I'm like,
not
it's-
really
No, it's
though
something
like
about the little spin he does. It's like he's laughing while he's doing
Yeah.
it.
Bridget-
Like it's
Bridget's
like
got a
not
dartboard with
okay.
Cinderace's face on it in her apartment. I guarantee it. She hates this
It's like-
Pokemon.
I didn't even expect this to come out. I just kind of thought this was a universal experience, but I guess not.
It's stupid.
no but
little
you're like literally
shit-eating
invincible
spin.
like there's not that many
It
invincible
is.
invincible moves in the game. It's so fun to play. Like I like it's not one of the attackers I play often, but when I do, I'm like, man, this is super fun.
Yeah,
So I get it.
that's fair.
You feel like you're very much in control of a game when you play Cinderace, especially like in a solo queue environment.
All right, fine.
True.
Fair point from Mindhacks in our chat saying dodge getting clicked by Latios with Flame Charge and then come back. All right,
Literally
fair
that.
enough,
You
fair
can't like
enough.
Glaceon
Honestly,
exists.
got you.
Yeah.
Well, just Blaze Kick on top of them and kill them. I don't know.
No,
Okay.
he just presses his
I don't
button.
know.
You don't kill him fast enough.
I don't know why I'm defending this stupid Fire Rabbit. Okay,
Yeah, it's like-
little bit of story
Why
now.
is this the hill you're
The Bridget hate is attributed over to me now too on this Pokemon. One of my favorite the day Unite released, I played with a few IRL friends. Like we were all just playing on our Switches in handheld mode. I remember
Aw.
one time the first rage moment we had was like I forget what he was playing, but he got killed by Cinderace like 4 times in the early game. He's like
Yeah,
the
he
stupid.
did.
He's like the stupid fire mouse. I laughed so hard because it's like
Not even the right
it's
animal.
no, but it does kind of look like
His
one.
big ears.
Big
ears,
His
yeah.
big ears.
It's a stupid soccer fire mouse. I laughed a lot. All right, last section of
joyful.
changes because we are Wonder Chef's here to let us know that this podcast has gone on extremely long. Okay. Adjustments for the competitive environment. To create a battle environment where a greater variety of Pokemon can be active in tournaments, adjustments have been centered on Pokemon with high usage rates and competitive play. We talked about this the last time they included this qualifier in the patch notes. I think we're all kind of agreed that this is basically these changes are done on data, not necessarily gained from ranked ladder, not necessarily gained from play rates or win rates or anything like that. However, they are done because, hey, these things are really strong in tournaments. So, however, I think Psyduck and Inteleon and Hoop are doing just fine in the ranked ladder as well. So I think there is
Yeah.
a few grounds for these changes. Inteleon, oof, okay. You could low-key call this a rework in some ways.
Yeah.
It's ability sniper. So this is the ability to where Inteleon will have automatic criticals gained on that tiny little diamond gauge that it had around its HP bar. Now, Sobble can only store up to 1 critical hit. Drizzile can store up to 2, and Inteleon can still store up to 3. So no changes on Inteleon. Fellstinger is changed to be able to interrupt movement with strong hindrance effect. Basically, now you can get stunned out of Fellstinger, which I actually kind of love. I hated that you could, I just play so much Snorlax, so when I would, like, heavy slam a Drizzile and he still stingered away, I got very upset. So
Mhm,
I
mhm.
called him a fire
You
mouse
were
and moved
heard.
on. Yeah. Okay. So that
Get
being
him.
changed, snipe shot damage decreased down by 5%. I doubt that'll
Yeah.
be super relevant. It's still gonna do 2,000 some damage. Acrobatics getting a buff, so Kyle, you gotta be happy about that.
No.
Okay.
Whoa.
No. I miss my little lizard.
Yeah.
It was my most played Pokemon this past season. I think I played like 100 games in
Mhm.
ranked, and
You and every
um,
attacker player to play this game
oh,
competitively ever.
I
So-
just love sniper Pokemon. Like,
Literally.
put me on Venusaur, put me on Solar Beam Mew, put me on
Ooh.
Inteleon, on Desi. I love playing snipers. I could just sit back. I play a little passenger princess. I wait for my tanks to engage, and I just shoot where my tanks are. It's fantastic. It's a very low stress way of playing Unite.
Wow.
Unless there's a
That's
dang
not
talent
how
fight.
I treat Inteleon.
About to say.
It's very stress inducing when I'm playing it. All right. How about you, Bridget? What are you thinking about these changes?
I actually think overall these are pretty like good changes to Intel. I mentioned earlier it's like a shame that it's like a bit bugged right now,
Oh, yeah, we
but
should talk about that. Do you want to mention what the
Yeah.
bug is?
yeah, so basically instead of those crit counters that Zoinks was discussing, that they used to get up to 3 in all of the evolution states, but now they just get 1, 2, 3 respectively. But I believe it's just Drizzile, like you can't stack
Yeah.
them at all off of Felstinger specifically. I'm not sure
Just the wall.
if
If you hit a
just off
wild or
walls. Okay.
yeah, if you hit an enemy Pokemon, it stacks like you hit a wall.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think that was the
interesting.
intent.
Yeah, I did not. I just knew it didn't work against the walls. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if you can't stack it like at all, but I know the Felt Stinger stack interaction does not work
Mhm.
specifically on Drizzile. But once you get to Intel, it does work. But I feel like, and people were kind of talking about it in chat, Intel really was like such a prominent threat because of its just like dominance early
Yes.
and late game, and I feel like this is a big hit to the early game of
Yeah.
Intel in general. Obviously, like the snipe shot decrease, the fell stinger like interaction change, like honestly those aren't like too, I don't actually feel like they did anything like too crazy to Intel like late game
No.
specifically.
Mhm.
But getting there I think it's going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm interested in these changes. While they do seem pretty drastic on paper, like these are huge changes to this Pokemon. Like you said, the early game's gonna be way tougher.
Mhm.
This bug is, yeah, that is really tricky. I I think it's gonna be a slow change for like worlds qualified players to move away from
Yeah.
Inteleon. Like,
Yeah.
if in the
I think
late
we'll still
game
see it.
you can still like play off of 2,500 snipe shot damage, you know, if you can play
Mhm.
around that, and then like your speedster could dive on whoever you hit with a snipe, or your tank can engage after that, like that is still a pretty fantastic prospect
Yeah.
for like late game team fights and stuff. So I don't know if we're gonna see this Pokemon go anywhere. I think it will lower in terms of, I don't think it's a ban threat anymore. Where literally
No.
before this patch, I do think
No.
people should have considered banning this Pokemon, especially against certain teams. Like you should ban this
Yes.
against orange juicers, like they're just straight
Yes.
up.
Right
So,
band.
but I do think that that is no longer going to be the case. But I do not think it's unviable. Like I think a lot of people were talking about this Pokemon being
Agree.
literally off the table, but I think this is still a very viable option. You probably just got to play a little more passive. I doubt we see
Mhm.
like Intel rotating up 4 push top as much anymore.
Mhm.
You know, Drizzle's like, I don't know what I can offer any longer.
Right.
So I don't know if we're gonna see too many more of those rotations out of this Pokemon, but I do think like it still is an option. But
I think so too. I think the other thing too, I think it's only one crit counter. I think really in the early game, it's mostly just going to change that really quick clear that a lot of teams
yes,
do, or you hit that
yes.
Mhm.
first one, or you get the
Yep.
first one, tap the second one, and then you're leaving 3. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you're going to see
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
anymore. But also, you can still combo. Like once you get your Tearful Eyes or whatever, like you can hit your boosted auto, Tearful Eyes, Water Gun, And if you're paired in path with someone that can burst it a little bit faster, you can still get the secure early game most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Water gun's still broken. Like,
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
be just
Right. They
fine.
didn't
You're just gonna
touch
have to be more
that.
strategic about it. It's just not like an auto win in path early because
Yeah.
it
Right.
was a bit
Okay.
much. Bit much.
All right, so we're all a little more optimistic on the lizard than I think most are. That's interesting. Okay, let's talk
I
Psyduck.
see every attacker player be like, "No, why?
My life is
No."
over. My role already
They were
sucks.
they were so sad.
Yeah, they're like, we already had to go through this with Miraidon, and now we're gonna have to go through it. All right, let's talk Psyduck. So Psyduck also getting a few. Wow, we do need a soundboard for this podcast. Okay, Psyduck getting changes. Psyshock, the area of effect. Well, this should be psychic, I think. Another typo.
Yeah.
Psychic area of
Yes,
effect from
yes.
2 meters down to 1.7 meters, so a slight radius change, getting a little bit smaller. And Surf, time until the second
Noticeable.
stage can be used, 0.4 seconds to 0.6 seconds. So, gone are the days of like perma stunning people with like triple surfs into walls, I think. At least tougher to land that play. But Bridget, you were saying the psychic nerf pretty noticeable?
Yeah, I thought so. I just played Psyduck in an Electrode Volleyball, actually, I think, was
Okay.
where I forgot that they changed it, but as soon as I cast it, I was like, oh, this feels like it feels a lot more than, I guess, like, what is it? It's not even like a fourth smaller than it was.
Yeah.
It's probably like an eighth smaller, at least like it says it is, but it feels at least like a third smaller, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's I mean an eighth compared to a third. I don't know. It feels pretty small, but I need to play it in Thea, I feel like, to really pay attention. Electrode Volleyball is a little crazy if you guys haven't played it yet.
That is
But
true.
Yeah, it's
it feels
think it is
like
bugged.
bigger. Like you what?
I think it's bugged. I agree with you. I think it's small, a lot smaller than it should be.
Okay, I was like, I'm surprised only seeing it say like an eighth smaller because it feels like more than like it feels like I feel like an eighth I wouldn't have noticed as much. But like I said, maybe I need to do it on the actual map, not when I'm freaking out over Electrode.
Well, I'll say it then. Keep it that small. because this Pokemon
Dang.
busted Psyduck so crazy good. Having this small area effect, I think being way more skill intensive is kind of cool for Psyduck.
Yeah.
I like it. So I'm into this change. If they fix it, whatever. I won't be too upset either. But I do think this is a fun way to nerf it. Like it's not making the move worse necessarily, right? Psychic could always only hit one target of an enemy Pokemon, but it just makes it more skill intensive, which I think is a really cool change. I'm always a big fan of those options. So things like cooldown and stuff often do that too. So big fan of this change, even if it is a bug. Hoopa, the final Pokemon that's getting adjustments. Phantom Force, time remaining until the second use from 5 seconds down to 3.5 seconds. They hate this Trick Phantom Force combo. They really do.
They really do.
Where are the Trick Phantom Force demons? Like, show yourselves.
I think they're in Japan with triple Axel Zarina. They are causing shenanigans and they are getting it nerfed because 5 seconds down to 3.5 seconds is a way smaller window to try to execute that combo. That is going to be really difficult to pull off. Like even Brave Bird Talent is going to have a tough time. Like you can try an aerial ace, but I don't know if you'll make it back anymore. So like this is a really drastic change, I think. I don't think it'll affect just the natural hyperspace hole Phantom Force plays too much. Like, I don't think it'll be tough for Hoopa players to really get used to the change. However, I do think the Trick combo is going to be almost just gone from competitive play. But in ranks even, it's just going to be really tough to make this work.
I agree. I feel like, yeah, I don't understand the Trick hatred, but it is prominent and loud, which is not great. But I don't know. I mean, Hoopa's just always gonna be relevant, I guess, but They're really trying to stifle his shine.
Yeah. Ooh, Krex is talking in our Twitch chat actually too. The nerf broke using portals too, which is a
Oh,
good
yeah.
point. So when you
Ooh.
portal, oftentimes players would use the Phantom Force to kind of cheat out getting back quicker rather than transporting through the portal. That's also way harder to do with this big reduction. So this is oof, this is tough. But Hoopa getting a pretty substantial nerf to, I would say, the most commonly used ability in the Phantom Force.
Yeah, it's almost exclusively Phantom Force, whether you go Trick or Portal.
Well, yeah, you can't play Shadow Ball anymore. Decorate Alchemy's out there. You got
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, Kyle, any thoughts on Hoopa?
It makes me sad because I always love watching like a good Hoopa move around and break some ankles. So seeing less of it is definitely a little bit less exciting. But I get it. It's still like every part of its kit is very game changing. So yeah, it's another nerf for supports, I guess.
Tanks needed it, okay?
Yeah,
you
Tanks
guys were
needed
getting
it. Tanks
4
needed it.
Pokemon banned every
guess.
draft.
I know.
we needed some tank buffs, all right? It had to happen. So hey, I'm not against it. And I do think supports overall needed a bit of a blanket nerf because we were getting a little too strong, in my
Not
opinion.
wrong.
That's what I like to hear.
Pish posh.
All right. Well, I think that's going to bring us to the end of our episode. Unless anybody else has anything they want to say, final thoughts on the patch or anything like that from either of you two? No? Perfect.
Overall, I like this patch.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, yeah. Overall, you like the patch, even with the support changes?
It makes my life more difficult for sure, but I think like in terms of the game state, I like it.
Yeah. Me too. This is one of my favorite a month out from Worlds patches. Like, that's really cool. We're going to see, hopefully, some drastic changes. It sounds like, I mean, Latios being a very real option, maybe Inteleon stocks going down, Ho-Oh becoming a very real option for competitive play. Like, this is going to be pretty fun. I'm excited to see what teams do with it. Kyle, any final thoughts on the patch overall?
Yeah, I agree. It's a good patch. I think they gave the players enough time to adjust to it, which I think is always good. You never want to be playing a big competition, a week out from a very substantial patch. So
yeah,
I like that they gave them enough time. I think that we may get one more in between then, which will probably be a little bit more minor, but overall, I think a lot of the changes are positive. They didn't like break anything too much. So
that's fair.
Good job, devs.
Awesome. Yeah, shout out devs. Great job. I do like the amount of Pokemon they changed as well. I've been calling for bigger patches for a long time, so I'm happy we got like 15 Pokemon or something like that getting adjustments, which is kind of sick. You are very excited for the Latinos being in the game. That's a good point.
Me too, man. It's about time.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Tam stocks up.
A couple of quick housekeeping things before we end the episode. One, tomorrow on this channel, we're going to be having an Electrode Volleyball tournament. So if anyone wants to tune into that, please tune in here on Unite. If you want to sign up for that, the links will be on our socials. So at Swings for me, at Legend Kyle for Kyle.
Just drop the link in the thing.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to, so it doesn't go.
It didn't work.
But we'll figure it out later.
Here you go. You do it. You do it.
I guess I'll do it. Okay. Doing this live on a podcast. This is so great.
I could do it. You could keep talking.
That is a good point. I forget you have permissions to do it. Okay, anyway, we have the volleyball tournament tomorrow. It's going to be really fun. Lordy made a really good logo for it tonight, which is actually so sick. And I kind of love it. It's great. So people sign up for volleyball. It's going to be fun. This Friday, I think it happens. Spraggles is doing the group Worlds Draw Show, which is super exciting for a lot of reasons. One, Unite Esports has already tweeted out, being like, anybody co-streaming this thing? I think, Bridget, you already said you are, which is actually going to be sick. Kyle, are you? I don't know.
I said I was going to.
No, let's go. Okay, I didn't know if you had like work or something. I have to work, so I can't.
I'm taking lunch. I'm taking lunch.
Nice.
Exactly.
I wish I worked from home for things like this. Okay, and then So yeah, make sure to tune into that. And that is really cool because next episode, we'll be able to talk about the Worlds groups, which is actually crazy to think about. We'll be able to start breaking down some of these. That's going to be so crazy. And I can't wait. A very exciting time for Unite Esports, obviously, with the ramp up to Worlds. It's always so hype. And the Pokemon Presents, we did have Chris Brown showing off the World swag. And then for sure triple confirming that the grand finals on Sunday is going to be in a freaking arena for the first time
really
ever.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's gonna be sick.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so hype. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. So all that is very exciting to look forward to. Kyle, before we get out of here, anything other than those things that you want to plug, sell out, shout out, anything like that?
Shout out Underdunk, Thursday, same time, same place. Actually, new time, same place. We're gonna be at 8 p.m. this week. So if you haven't signed up your team, sign up for Underdunk. Join the Discord. Also, Sunday we have the second session of the First Step program.
Sweet.
So shout out Lordy, shout out Bina, everybody, all the mentors that have been making that thing shine. So stay tuned for that. And session 3 signups should be opening the day of the second session broadcast. So if you're interested in learning more about competitive Unite or breaking, maybe dipping your toes into competitive Unite, a lot of players have had a lot of fun learning, playing, meeting new people, all that fun stuff. So shout out all that stuff.
I've only heard incredible things so far, so I'm sure only incredible things will happen after. It's going to be really cool. Bridget, how about you? Anything to sell out, shout out?
I don't think so. There's a lot going on this week, but that's pretty much all the things I can think of. But yeah, should be a fun week. It was already such a fun Presents Day.
Yeah.
Good Unite anniversary. We're
Yeah.
up.
That's crazy. Also, shout out to us for doing 3 episodes in less than 2 weeks, and still this episode was almost 2 hours. So we really found content in places you never expect. So that's always exciting too. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in. This was an absolute blast. Next week we'll be able to talk about the groups for Worlds. That's so exciting. So Dunkheads, be ready. It's going to be awesome. And tune in tomorrow for Electrode Volleyball. All right, bye everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Bye.